Swadika. Good morning. Welcome to Newsline. I'm Cholapansa Narula. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. It's Wednesday, March 2nd, 2016. Let's take a look at today's news. Beginning with Thailand moves forward, the Prime Minister has urged Thai youths to embrace science, technology, engineering and mathematics or STEM education. Before attending this week's cabinet meeting, Prime Minister Janrat Prayut Chan-o-cha paid a visit to an exhibition organized inside the compound of the Government House, which features energy products and innovation, as well as a campaign to promote children's creative education. Janrat Prayut told youth representatives who were present to promote the exhibition and related activities that Thailand's education must be developed through an emphasis on science and critical thinking. He also called for an integrated education system through STEM curricula, educating students in the disciplines of science, technology, engineering and mathematics. The Prime Minister went on to say that Thai youths should be encouraged to improve their writing skills. He also suggested that at least 70% of their exams should come from what they can learn outside the classroom. The Cabinet and the National Council for Peace and Order has agreed to amend the interim constitution to stipulate a public referendum. According to the government spokesperson, Major General Sansern Kaew-Kamnert, the meeting discussed ways the public referendum should be structured to meet international standards. The Cabinet will then forward its proposal to the Office of the Council of the State, which will then forward the amendment proposal to the National Legislative Assembly. The meeting agreed that the referendum should be majority-based, with Deputy Prime Minister Wisanu Kruangam to address the details of the vote count in a future press release. Major General Sansern added that the Prime Minister has instructed the NCPO to foster understanding of the government's policies on drought relief, poverty and law enforcement. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has organized a meeting of the Group of 77 on Information and Communication Technology, or ICT, and Sustainable Development for South-South cooperation from March 1st till 2nd in Bangkok. The meeting seeks to forge cooperation among developing countries in promoting and implementing ICT in sustainable development. Thailand would also share with the diplomatic corps past experiences in using ICT to shape the Thai economy and society. Deputy Permanent Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Withawat Sivihok, gave a keynote speech about the importance of ICT, describing it as a tool for social development and a catalyst for sustainable development.
There is also a consensus that ICT are catalytic enablers for sustainable development and have a central role in accelerating resilient growth. Their transformative and pervasive nature in today's society makes them a powerful vehicle to drive and sustain our economy and society.
Meanwhile, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Thailand to the United Nations, Viratai Plasai, explained that ICT can be used as a vehicle to sustainable development. He later added that the two-day meeting also serves as a platform to introduce sufficiency economy to G77 countries.
The ICT itself will not translate into sustainable development. It will be a way, a means that we use so that we ensure that we achieve those goals. All the goals will require different ways, different paths to be achieved or implemented. And one of those paths is to use ICT as a facilitator so that we can better achieve what we are looking for.
Day of the meeting, participants from the G77 and related local and international agencies discussed the promotion of ICT in remote areas, as well as its implementation in education and business. On the following day, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will take participants on a field trip to Thailand Science Park. Diplomats can observe how the Thai government uses ICT to improve agricultural affairs as well as facilitate people with disabilities and the elderly. The National Reform Steering Assembly, or NRSA, has approved a report on the reform of the country's social media. At the NRSA sitting on Tuesday, members of the reform body deliberated a report on social media reform, which was submitted by the corresponding committee. In presenting the report, which focuses on amendments to the Computer Crime Act, the Committee on Mass Communications Reform argued for a regulatory mechanism to oversee all agencies involved in the use of online media and internet operators. The committee said that any unscrupulous use of social media could also affect national security. Accordingly, the committee has proposed amendments to all articles of the Computer Crime Act. The amendments will authorize the court to order the destruction of photographs and place a ban on the possession of any electronic media ordered to be destroyed, while enabling responsible authorities to seek a ban on the dissemination of any photographs deemed inappropriate. After the deliberations, the NSA voted 157-2 with 9 abstentions to approve the report. The Ministry of Commerce has put forward policies to prevent price slumps in agricultural products. Commerce Minister Apiradi Tantraporn spoke of the ministry's monitoring of agricultural product prices. Cassava for the 2015 to 2016 crop year is expected to amount to 31.81 million tons. Market prices are likely to soften due to the surplus. The government will implement measures to slow the harvesting of cassava to maintain price levels. As for food production, the ministry expects 650,000 tons of durian, 280,000 tons of mangosteen, and 320,000 tons of rambutan in the month of April. The ministry also expects over 100,000 tons of shallots, 44,000 tons of onion, and 73,000 tons of garlic. Due to the large volume of products, the ministry will monitor for smuggling to prevent oversupply. Provincial offices have also been networking with regional markets to disperse agricultural goods. In the wake of the continuous export slump, the Thai National Shippers Council, or TNSC, has projected that no export expansion will be seen this year, while suggesting close monitoring of many risk factors. The TNSC pointed out that the world economic recovery will likely continue to be delayed this year, and some countries could be faced with an economic crisis, especially those relying on the export of commodities and crude oil. Judging from Thai exports in January, which contracted by as much as 8.91%, the TNSC noted that the average export growth rate for the whole year could settle at 0%. Nonetheless, a rate of 1% might be possible if the country managed to push export earnings to $18.5 billion a month. According to the agency, several factors to monitor include the global economic recovery, Chinese economy and currency, international politics, oil prices, and the drought crisis. The imposition of new trade regulations could also obstruct Thai exports. The National Broadcasting and Telecommunications Commission, or NBTC, has prepared to pass out more digital television coupons to expedite the nation's transition from analog broadcasting to a digital system. At a meeting to brainstorm more efficient ways to distribute the coupons, the NBTC made known it has organized 7 handouts and passed out the coupons to 13.5 million households, or 50% of its target. The nation's postal service has sent out 91% of the coupons and has confirmed 64% were received. The meetings discuss households that would be included in target groups, such as those whose coupons remain in the mailing system, those who only registered their homes after September 16, 2014, and those with temporary residences and houses with no registered owners. The NBTC assured that even with the added recipients, its handouts would stay within its allotted budget of 1 trillion baht. Public Relations Department Director General Aphinan Chantarangsi opened the PRD to be #1 exercise event at department headquarters in Bangkok. The PRD to be #1 exercise event aims to reduce drug abuse and create awareness of the benefits of exercise. The event also motivates PRD officials, other public agencies, as well as local communities to work out in joyful atmosphere. Mr. Apinan said that narcotics is one of the most important national agendas, and the PRD has served as a core agency in disseminating advice to the public and encouraging them to avoid or quit drugs for good.
I'm just glad to be part of these activities, and it is a chance for me to get my health healthy and to be able to spend time with my colleagues and my friends here. Well, the activities at the Government Public Relations Department is not only open for the officers here, but it's also open for the public. So if you're interested, you can come and join us here too.
The PRD to be #1 exercise event is held every Tuesday and Wednesday from 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. in the park near the National Educational Radio Network station, Soi Ari Sampan, Payathai district in Bangkok. Thai monasteries, especially in Ayutthaya province, have long been popular with foreign tourists. To discover just what is so unique about them, NBT World correspondent Kun Panot Sinsap brought us this special report.
The centuries-old temple offers an amazing glimpse of history through drawings, and tourists from all over the world can learn a bit more about the kingdom in the past when it was known as Siam. Visitors to the temple were quite impressed with what they saw.
I've never seen the heritage like this in Japan. Yeah, I really wanted to come here.
We have an interesting guide that we trust, and that guide tells that this is one of the most interesting temples in Ayutthaya.
So I come here every year. I like temple like this.
Amazing build and undescribable energy here. It's a lot of peace, and everyone is kind people, and it's really different and amazing good.
It's quite peaceful. It's nice. They all pray every day. It's very attractive me. And in China, I never see people like this. So it's very interesting.
I've heard about Buddha and Buddhism, and I think it's an amazing doctrine, and I respect so much your religion and Buddha too.
Of course, Wat Yai Chai Mongkol is only one among the more than 33,000 temples in Thailand, but there is something quite special that sets it apart, as we have heard from these visitors. So if you have visited Ayutthaya but missed Wat Yai Chai Mongkol, make sure to see it next time, as it is quite a special, memorable temple with a lot of history. Panot Sinsap, NBT World.
The Ministry of Public Health is accelerating its efforts to combat dengue fever after more than 8,000 cases were reported in the past 2 months. Permanent Secretary for Public Health, Sopon Mekton, reported on the data released by the Bureau of Epidemiology. In the past 2 months, a total of 8,651 people were infected with dengue fever, resulting in 1 death. The number is higher than the same period of last year. This year's infection rate is on course to being as severe as in 2013, which recorded more than 150,000 infected. The ministry has instructed all hospitals to be thorough in diagnosing the disease, while ordering public health agencies to inform the public on how to destroy mosquito breeding grounds around homes, schools, and workplaces. The ministry recommends that the public clear these places of mosquito breeding grounds every week. And that's it for Thailand Moves Forward. Up next, we have ASEAN News for you as we bring a special report on the Jantaburi Gems and Jewelry Center. Don't go away. Stay right here on Newsline.
Thai. Created from Thai wisdom, used to be served on banana leaf, and the banana tree is used for practicing Muay Thai. Muay Thai was trained in the temples, which can be found on the mountains, in the caves, or on the water, everywhere, just like Pad Thai. There are thousands of other stories to discover. Discover your amazing stories in amazing Thailand.
ASEAN Economic Community. Having the same hopes and mutual intentions to create sustainable growth and permanent economic progress within the framework of the ASEAN Comprehensive Investment Agreement. The ACIA exists to facilitate trade and commerce between member nations, as well as to improve quality of people's lives. One vision, one identity, one community.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. The Chanthaburi Gems and Jewelry Center, an important gemstone trade and information center in Thailand, has prepared itself well for the era of the ASEAN community. Kun Praphamon Araya Suksawat visited there and brings us this report.
Gems and jewelry industry is considered as the one that creates a great deal of economic value for Thailand. Being the world's business center of handmade gem cutting and jewelry, as well as the high-skilled labor source of gem cutting. The products here have been acknowledged to many other parts of the world.
Chanthaburi Gems and Jewelry Center is the largest gems trade and production center in Southeast Asia. This means that it is well ahead of the competition and has the potential to strengthen Thailand's position as a major gem center in the region and in the world. The center not only produces a showcase of great variety, but also functions as a prominent learning center, gem museum, multimedia center, and gem exhibition hall, along with demonstrations of gem cutting and inlay artistry. Besides, it is open to tourists and visitors to observe the manufacturing process in all its detail, as new works are prepared for the showcase as well.
I believe the trend should be getting better, because in the Asian economic community, we have more than 600 million people in population. So we are open to a more bigger market here. And also the better logistic, it's easier to travel around countries. So I believe that there will be more tourists. So that will bring more business and sales of the gems and business as well.
Thailand's gems and jewelry industry has reached its position of strength because of the abilities of the industry's skilled labor force, particularly those experienced in enhancing gems to be even more striking. However, to achieve these specific capabilities, skilled cutters have sometimes to be trained in a third or fourth language since Thailand entered into ASEAN integration at the end of last year. Meanwhile, there is a warm welcome for all our visitors from all over the world.
Right now, the situation is a bit slow, but hopefully we are going to have a new period of tourism coming soon. I think we will getting better because it's easier for our neighboring country to travel to each other. So more tourists, maybe we'll get more businesses in the future.
The gems industry shows that since Thailand is a part of ASEAN integration, the government and Thai manufacturers are eager to cooperate in preparing and improving ourselves, ready to share the success and beauty of the gems industry with our good neighbors. Camera work by Pornmongkol Suthi. I am Papamun Araya Sukhawat for NBT World.
In other global news, at least 2 shelters were destroyed when fires broke out at the migrant camp in Calais. French riot police were seen standing on guard as firefighters tried to douse the flames. It was unclear how the fires were started. On Monday, clashes with police broke out in Calais as work got underway to clear part of the shanty town outside the port city in northern France, where migrants are trying to reach Britain. Police fired tear gas, migrants and activists threw stones, and 3 makeshift shelters were set ablaze. Last week, a judge upheld a government order to evict migrants living in the southern part of the camp, although a few makeshift buildings of social importance, such as a school and a theatre, are to remain untouched. For years, thousands of migrants fleeing war and poverty have converged on the northern port, trying to find a way to enter Britain. The judging of doping cases at this year's Rio de Janeiro Olympics and all future games will be handled by the Court of Arbitration for Sport, or CAS, instead of the International Olympic Committee. The International Olympic Committee, or IOC, said that the executive board had approved the decision to remove itself from the process of judging suspected dopers in an effort to add more credibility to judgments. At previous games, an IOC disciplinary commission made up of regular IOC members would convene following a positive dope test by an athlete. The commission would then hear the athlete's case and hand out any sanctions. These sanctions could include the stripping of medals and the disqualification of athletes from the Olympics. The respective sport federation was then responsible for any further sanctions. Under the new system, athletes or officials who are suspected of anti-doping rule violations will present their case to a group of arbitrators within a new anti-doping division of CAS. Between 1 and 3 arbitrators, who all specialize in doping, will hear the case. Lawyers working on a pro bono basis would also be available for those under investigation. The IOC would then be bound to accept any decision by CAS anti-doping division. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. Thank you very much for joining us. Our email address is newsline.nbt@gmail.com. So if you do have any suggestions or comments, please feel free to write them to us. Today we say goodbye with some pictures from the 7-day yoga festival held in India's Rishikesh. I'm Shalapan San Rula. We'll see you tomorrow. Sawasdee ka.